Someone was watching me, and I forgot why. Started receiving messages from someone who knew everything about me. When I found videos of myself explaining the truth, I realized I had forgotten something on purpose. This psychological thriller will make you question memory, identity, and whether forgetting is sometimes a choice. I wasn't supposed to see the message. My phone was face down on the table, silent, untouched, yet something made me turn it over. The screen lit up by itself, revealing a single notification from an unknown sender. Don't move. My body froze before my mind could react. I looked around the room slowly, carefully, as if sudden movement might trigger something unseen. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. No footsteps, no sounds, just me and the message that shouldn't exist. Another text appeared. I can see you right now. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I stared at the screen, waiting for it to explain itself, waiting for it to be a joke, a glitch, anything that made sense. Nothing did. I typed back with shaking fingers. Who are you? The reply came instantly. Someone you forgot. That was when I noticed the detail that still makes my chest tighten whenever I remember it. The message was marked as read before I sent it. From that moment on, my sense of reality began to fracture. Small things first, subtle things, the kind you explain away because the alternative is unbearable. Lights I didn't remember turning off. Doors slightly open when I was sure I'd closed them. Objects moved just enough to make me doubt myself. I told myself I was tired, overworked, stressed. People don't like admitting fear, so we rename it. Then the messages continued. They weren't threats, they weren't warnings, they were observations. You always pause before sitting down. You check the lock twice, even when you don't remember doing it. You sleep better when the door is closed. Each one landed heavier than the last. No one knew these things. I barely knew them myself. They were habits so small they lived below awareness. I covered my cameras, turned off the lights, slept with my phone clutched in my hand like it could protect me. It didn't. One night, I woke up to my phone vibrating softly. A photo. It took a moment to understand what I was seeing. My bedroom. The angle wrong. Too close. Too personal. Then I saw myself, asleep. My breathing went shallow. My hands trembled as I zoomed in, noticing details no outsider could fake. The wrinkle in the sheet, the scar on my wrist, the way my fingers curled when I slept. The photo had been taken from inside the room. I sat up so fast my head spun, scanning the darkness. Nothing moved. Nothing answered me. Another message appeared. You still don't remember, do you? That was the first time I considered that this wasn't about being watched. It was about being known. I stopped responding, stopped engaging. If this thing fed on attention, I wouldn't give it any. Days passed without messages. The silence almost convinced me I was free. Then I found the folder. It was on my laptop, hidden deep in the system, buried under layers of files I didn't remember creating. The folder name was simple. Archive. Inside were videos, dozens of them, all labeled with dates I didn't recognize. I clicked one. The man on the screen was me. Same face, same voice, same apartment. But his eyes were different, calmer, emptier. If you're watching this, he said, it means the process worked. You forgot again. My stomach dropped. You asked for this, the video continued. You begged for it, actually. You couldn't live with what you discovered. Another video played automatically. I know you think you're being hunted, another version of me said, but you're not the victim. You're the liability. My chest tightened. Liability to what? The videos kept playing. Different versions, different emotions, fear, anger, release. All of them ended the same way. Don't trust yourself. That night, I couldn't sleep, not because I was scared of being watched, but because I was scared of what I had done to myself. The next message arrived without warning. You found it. I didn't reply. You always do. The air felt thick, like the apartment was holding its breath. We tried to keep you calm, the message continued. But you're close to remembering again. Remembering what? I demanded answers. I begged this time. I needed to know. The reply was slow, deliberate. You discovered how easy it is to erase someone without killing them. My blood ran cold. Memories stirred. Faces I couldn't place. Names that felt heavy. A truth just out of reach, like a word on the tip of my tongue. You proved it could be done, the message said. And then you realized what they would do with it. A final video opened on my laptop by itself. The calm version of me stared into the camera. "This is the moment you always stop," he said softly. "Because knowing the rest means you can't go back." The screen faded to black. Text appeared. "Do you want to remember?" My phone buzzed one last time. "Answer carefully." And that's where the story really begins. Because whatever choice I make next, someone is already watching to see if I make the same one again. Someone was watching me, and I forgot why. I started receiving messages from someone who knew everything about me. When I found videos of myself explaining the truth, I realized I had forgotten something on purpose. This psychological thriller will make you question memory, identity, and whether forgetting is sometimes a choice. I didn't answer the question. The words, "Do you want to remember?" stayed on the screen, unmoving, like the system already knew I was hesitating. My reflection stared back at me from the dark glass of the laptop, unfamiliar somehow. Tired, older than I remembered feeling. The phone buzzed again. "You're running out of time." That was when I understood something that should have been obvious from the beginning. This wasn't a threat. It was a routine, a loop I had been trapped in longer than I could remember. "I want proof," I whispered to the empty room. "Real proof." The response came slower this time. "You already made it." The archive folder reopened on its own. A new file appeared at the top of the list, highlighted like it had been waiting for me. Final record. My finger hovered over the trackpad. Part of me knew that pressing play would end whatever piece I had left. But another part, stronger, sharper, was tired of living inside a lie I couldn't remember choosing. I clicked it. The video opened to a familiar scene. Same apartment, same angle, same me. But his voice was steady, in a way mine wasn't. "You're scared," he said. "That's normal. It means this version of you is still human." He paused, then continued. "You discovered a system. Not a person, not a group. A process that quietly rewrites people who know too much. No prisons, no bodies, just erasure." My stomach twisted. "You tried to expose it," he said. "That's when they noticed you. Watching wasn't punishment. It was containment." The video cut to images, documents, footage, faces blurred just enough to feel real. Proof stacked on proof. "So you made a deal," he continued. "Temporary forgetting in exchange for freedom. They'd monitor you, reset you when you got close again." The screen went dark for a second. "This is the last reset they'll allow." The message box reappeared on my phone. "Decision required." I felt the weight of it settle into my chest. Remember everything and become a problem again, or forget and live quietly, safely, unaware. My phone buzzed one last time. Choose. I closed my eyes, and for the first time since this began, I didn't think about fear. I thought about all the empty moments in my life, the unexplained dread, the feeling that something important was always missing. "I choose to remember," I said. The pain was instant. It felt like my mind tearing itself open, memories flooding back without mercy, meetings, warnings, faces leaning in too close. The exact moment I realized the system didn't need violence to win. I screamed. Then, silence. I woke up on the floor, sunlight spilling through the window. My head throbbed, but the fog was gone. The memories stayed. All of them. Days passed. No messages, no photos, no watching. I waited for consequences that never came. That's when I understood the final truth. They didn't stop watching me because I escaped. They stopped because I wasn't useful anymore. I had already proven the system existed once. Exposing it again wouldn't change anything. People didn't want truth that made them uncomfortable. They wanted safety, convenience, forgetting. I closed the archive folder and deleted it myself. Not because they asked me to, but because now, finally, the choice was mine. Some nights I still feel that familiar sensation, like eyes on my back. But now I know what it really is. It's not them watching me. It's me remembering who I used to be, and knowing exactly why I chose to forget.